A woman on the train demanded I give up my seat, even though I was injured. When I refused, she called me selfish and sat on my lap. The conductor rushed over, asked to see her ticket, and smirked. "Ma'am, this isn't even your train." Her eyes went wide as he escorted her off at the next stop. So, this happened a few months ago while I was taking the Amtrak Northeast Regional from Boston to New York. If you've ever taken that line, you know it can get crowded, especially around rush hours or weekends. That particular day, I was traveling on a weekday afternoon. It was cold and wet outside, classic Boston late fall weather. Everyone was cranky, including me. I had sprained my ankle the week before slipping down some icy apartment steps. I had a brace on, and I was using a folding cane to keep some weight off it. I don't like asking for help. I don't want to make a fuss about anything. But yeah, my ankle hurt. Bad. I had planned this trip carefully. I bought my ticket early and got to South Station about 45 minutes before boarding, just to make sure I could get a decent seat. As soon as they called the track, I limped to the platform with a bunch of other passengers and thankfully snagged a window seat on the lower level of a car near the middle. It was a decent spot, enough room to stretch out a little and rest my leg against the wall. I didn't even take my backpack off right away because I just needed a minute to sit and breathe. The train filled up slowly. People shuffled in with coats, bags, coffee cups. Some were loud, some quiet. The seat next to me stayed empty for a while, which I was silently hoping would last, even though I knew it probably wouldn't. I was clearly marked as a solo rider with an open seat beside me. We were maybe 5 or 10 minutes from departure when she appeared. Middle-aged woman, shorter than me, probably in her 40s. Short-cut dyed blonde hair, very neat. She had this look on her face like she was already annoyed about something. Maybe everything. She stopped next to my row and just stared at me. No greeting, no smile. Just stared. "Are you saving the seat?" she asked, pointing at the seat next to me. "No, ma'am," I said. "It's open." She huffed like I had somehow offended her by calling her ma'am, even though I didn't say it with any attitude. She looked at my leg, saw the brace and cane, and said, "Well, then you can move and let me take the window." I looked at her, confused. "Sorry, I prefer the window. I need to work during the ride and I get motion sickness in the aisle," she said, already reaching for the armrest. I tried to stay calm. "I'm sorry, but I got here early because of my injury. I really need to keep the seat. It's better for my leg to be against the wall." She blinked. "So you're just going to be selfish and make me sit in the aisle? I have back problems. You're not the only one who has medical needs." I pointed to my cane, not even saying anything. I didn't want to argue. "I don't believe this," she muttered, loud enough for the people in the next row to hear. This is the problem with people today. Everyone thinks the world revolves around them. I turned away, not answering. I wasn't going to get into it. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Without asking again, without warning, this woman suddenly shoved her purse into the seat beside me, stepped over my legs, which, reminder, one of them was in a brace, and then literally sat on my lap. Not next to me. Not squished beside me. On my lap. I froze. I was too shocked to even speak at first. She weighed more than I did, and the pressure on my injured leg made me wince. I let out a sharp breath and said, "Ma'am, what are you doing?" She said, loud and proud, "If you won't move, then I'll just sit here. Maybe next time you'll think twice before being so inconsiderate." The entire row went quiet. A few people across the aisle looked over with wide eyes. One guy actually took out his phone, probably recording. I raised my voice, not yelling, but louder. "Get off me. This isn't okay. You're hurting me." She sniffed. "I'm just making a point." That's when the conductor walked up. Thank God for timing. He was a tall guy, maybe late 50s, wearing the usual Amtrak vest and cap. He had that tired look of someone who's seen too much dumb behavior for one lifetime. "Excuse me," he said to her. "I'm going to need to see your ticket." She didn't move. Still perched partly on me. He's refusing to give up his seat. I have every right to sit here. He didn't blink. "Your ticket, ma'am," She huffed again but fished into her coat pocket. Handed it over with a look that said she thought she'd won. The conductor scanned it, looked at his tablet, then raised an eyebrow. This ticket's for the Acela Express. Different train. That left from a different platform 15 minutes ago. Silence. Her mouth opened, then closed. No, it's not. This is the train to New York. Yes, he said slowly, but you're on the Northeast Regional. This is a different service. Your ticket is for another train. She looked around like the world had flipped upside down. But I need to be in New York by 6. Then you should have boarded the right train, he replied. You'll need to exit at the next stop and speak to customer service about rebooking. And then he smirked. I've never seen someone go from smug to panic that fast. But I'll stop here for now. So yeah, she finally gets off me, muttering to herself like I'm the reason she ended up on the wrong train. She didn't apologize. Not once. Just stood up, adjusted her jacket like she was the one who'd been wronged, and grabbed her purse off the seat beside me. The conductor stayed nearby. I think he was waiting to make sure she didn't do something else stupid. I glanced at him, trying to signal without words that my leg was throbbing now. He looked at me and said quietly, "You okay?" I nodded, but I wasn't. I was angry, humiliated, and in pain. Everyone in the car had just seen this unfold. A few people were still whispering. One woman across the aisle mouthed, "You okay?" and I just gave her a small nod. My hands were shaking from the whole thing. But then, just when I thought it was over, she turns back to me and says, "You didn't have to make such a scene. People like you think the world owes you something." I didn't answer. I wasn't about to start a war on a train. But the guy behind me, who had been quiet the whole time, suddenly spoke up. "Lady, you sat on a stranger. That's assault. You should be glad all he did was sit there." Her eyes shot toward him. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," he said, flipping his phone screen so she could see. "And I've got the whole thing recorded. You sat on him like a toddler throwing a tantrum. If I were you, I'd shut up and sit down before you embarrass yourself more." She turned red. Bright red. Like her whole face flushed in one go. I don't know if she realized how bad she looked until that moment. Then she looked back at the conductor, like she was expecting him to say something in her defense. He didn't. Instead, he said, "Ma'am, we're pulling into Route 128 in 5 minutes. That's where you're getting off." She looked like she wanted to argue, but didn't. She just stood there, hugging her purse like it was a shield. 5 minutes later, the train slowed and the doors opened. She hesitated for a second, maybe thinking of making one last dramatic exit line, but nothing came out. She stepped off, and the conductor followed her out to the platform. The train rolled on. I let out a long breath. My leg hurt like hell. But at least she was gone. Only it didn't end there. About 10 minutes after she got off the train, the conductor came back. He knelt beside my seat, looked serious now. "Hey, just letting you know, she tried to tell the Amtrak agent at the station that you assaulted her. She wanted to file a report." My stomach dropped. "What?" I asked, not even trying to keep my voice calm. He held up a hand. "Don't worry. I already explained what really happened. Told them to pull security footage. That guy behind you has the video too. But just a heads up, if you get contacted by anyone, let us know. We'll back you up." I stared at him. "She tried to flip it on me?" He nodded. "Happens more than you'd think. People panic, try to shift blame. I've seen worse. But don't worry, I've got your back." I thanked him. I couldn't believe this woman, after everything she did, actually tried to accuse me of something. The rest of the ride was quieter. I didn't talk much. People around me whispered here and there, but no one else tried to sit by me. I didn't blame them. I probably looked like I was 1 second away from snapping. But then, just as we were approaching New Haven, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Normally, I don't answer unknown calls, especially not on a train. But something told me to pick up. So I did. And I wish I hadn't. A voice clearly older, female, cold and direct, said, "This is Margaret Jensen from Amtrak Customer Relations. We've received a complaint about an incident involving you and another passenger. I need to confirm a few details before we proceed further. My mouth went dry. I could barely get the words out. Are you saying I'm under investigation? I'm saying we received a formal complaint, she replied. We take all incidents seriously. I'll need a statement from you. I looked around, like the people nearby could somehow help me. The conductor was gone, probably in another car. Do you have the video? I asked. There were witnesses. That woman sat on me. I'm injured. She was on the wrong train. There was a pause. We do have access to security footage, but I'll still need your statement, she said. So I started talking. Gave her every detail. The time I boarded. My injury. Her sitting on me. The confrontation. The conductor's reaction. The witness behind me. Everything. She listened, typing or taking notes. I couldn't tell. She sounded tired, like this wasn't the first time she'd heard something like it. But it didn't make me feel better. When I finished, she said, "All right. We'll be following up with the other passenger, reviewing the video, and contacting the conductor. You won't need to do anything further unless we reach out." And just like that, the call ended. I stared at my phone, jaw clenched. This woman sat on me, insulted me, then tried to flip it around and report me for assault. And now I was caught in a mess I didn't ask for. But what happened next? That's where things really turned. I spent the next few hours thinking it over. I kept replaying everything in my head, wondering how the hell I was now at risk of being the bad guy in a situation I didn't start. My ankle throbbed more with each jolt of the train. I didn't even care about the pain anymore, just the fact that someone had tried to flip reality on its head. I finally got to New York and checked into the little hotel I'd booked near Penn Station. I was supposed to be there for a work meeting the next morning, but my head was a mess. I couldn't focus. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face again, that smug look right before she sat on me like I was a piece of furniture. I told myself to let it go. That Amtrak had the video, that witnesses saw everything, that the conductor had my back. But 2 days later, I got an email from my job's HR department. Subject line, urgent, complaint received. I opened it. And there it was. A formal complaint filed against me by an unnamed individual, alleging inappropriate conduct while traveling on company business. My heart dropped to my stomach. I had told my boss I was taking the train for the meeting. It was on the company's dime. That woman, she must have found out where I worked. That, or she got lucky and guessed I was on a work trip from the way I was dressed or something I said. The email didn't include much detail, just that the company would need to investigate further. I sat frozen, hand on my laptop, mind racing. It didn't make sense. She was off the train. She should have just walked away and disappeared into a crowd like every other rude person I've met on public transport. But no, she wanted more. She wanted to ruin me. The next day, I reached out to the guy who had recorded everything. He had given me his email when we got off the train in New York. I sent him a quick message, "Hey man, this is the guy with the ankle brace on the train from Boston. The woman who sat on me tried to get me in trouble with Amtrak and now somehow filed a complaint with my job. Do you still have the video?" He replied within the hour. "Yeah, I've got it." I sent a copy to Amtrak after the conductor asked, but I've got it backed up too. Do you want me to send it to your company? Also, this is gonna sound weird, but someone messaged me on Instagram asking about the video. No name, no profile pic. They offered money if I'd take it down. What the hell? This lady wasn't just trying to make a stink. She was trying to erase proof that it ever happened. I told him yes, absolutely send it to my HR department. I gave him the email, and then I sat there, staring at my screen like it might burst into flames. But it didn't stop there. That night, around 9:30 p.m., there was a knock on my hotel door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I wasn't even close with any coworkers on this trip, and I hadn't ordered anything. I checked the peephole. A man in a black coat stood there, looking straight ahead. Not knocking again. Just standing. I didn't open it. Something felt off. I waited. After a full minute, he turned and walked away. I called the front desk and asked if anyone had been sent up to my room. They said no. I don't know if I was being paranoid at that point, but I felt like I was being watched. Like maybe this woman wasn't acting alone. It sounds crazy, I know. All of this started because I didn't give up a seat on a train. That's it. But she sat on me, lied about it, filed a complaint, tried to bribe a witness, and now someone was at my door late at night. The next morning, I checked out early and moved to a different hotel. Paid out of pocket. I didn't even care anymore. I just wanted to be somewhere she couldn't find. Then I got a message from the Amtrak conductor. He had gotten my number from the corporate file they started when she made the complaint. His message was short. Hey, just so you know, I've dealt with this woman before. She's filed complaints in the past, usually aimed at people who don't give her what she wants. Once claimed a TSA agent assaulted her for asking to search her bag. So this was a pattern. She does this. She finds someone, makes a scene, and tries to spin it into power. This wasn't about a seat. This wasn't even about the train. This was about control. About trying to dominate strangers and make herself the victim every single time. And now I was in her crosshairs. But I wasn't going to lie down and let her bury me. I stayed quiet for a few days. No social media posts. No calls to friends. Just handled work stuff, limped around in pain, and checked my email like a paranoid hawk. The guy with the video, his name's Marcus, by the way, confirmed he sent it to my HR. He also CC'd me. The file name was plain and boring, train incident, MOV. But the content? Brutal. You can see me sitting quietly. You can see her standing, hands on hips, lecturing me. Then she sits on me like she owns the damn train. The conductor walks up, she argues, and finally gets told she's on the wrong train. You hear Marcus chuckle in the background. It was all right there. Unedited, clean, undeniable. My HR rep called me the next day. We've reviewed the video, she said. We're closing the complaint. You're in the clear. That should have been the end, right? But it didn't feel like it. I was still mad. Still humiliated. Still walking around with my ankle half busted while that woman probably strutted around believing she got the last word. So I did something petty. I found her. Took me 3 days and a few emails. I remembered her name from the conductor's first message. Barbara L. Kendall. I searched, found a few online profiles, one old LinkedIn page that mentioned she worked as a consultant, some corporate nonsense about leadership coaching. Eventually, I found a recent tweet. From her business account. It said, always stay composed. Even when others act beneath you. #professionalism, #leadership matters. I wanted to scream. She was pretending to be this calm, wise business leader while she was out here sitting on strangers and calling it justice. So I responded. From a burner Twitter account I made. I posted the video. With a caption, this leadership coach sat on a disabled passenger on the wrong train, called him selfish, then tried to report him for assault. Watch how she handles pressure. #leadership matters. It blew up. I thought maybe 20 people would see it. Maybe a few angry retweets. But within 2 hours it had over 30,000 views. By nightfall, it hit 500K. People were outraged. Journalists started poking around. Her website went down. Her name started trending, first locally, then nationwide. I didn't say a word. I just watched it unfold. The next day, her company posted a statement. We're aware of a situation involving one of our consultants. We take these matters seriously and have placed Ms. Kendall on administrative leave pending investigation. Another day later, her company deleted her from their team page. Her coaching site was gone. Her Instagram locked down. And someone else posted a follow-up video, an old TSA checkpoint camera feed from an airport years ago. It showed her screaming at a TSA agent. Security dragged her away. Apparently she'd done this kind of thing before. A lot. Just never got caught on video this clearly. She became a meme. A TikTok voiceover. A punchline. And me? I should have felt better. I really should have. But the truth is, I messed up too. When I posted that video, I wasn't trying to warn people. I wasn't trying to protect others. I wanted revenge. I wanted her to feel humiliated like I did. To suffer. And she did. Maybe too much. 1 week later, I got a direct message from a woman claiming to be Barbara's daughter. It just said, "My mom lost everything because of your video. Her job, her speaking gigs, even her friends. She's not okay. You got what you wanted. Hope it was worth it." I stared at that message for a long time. Was it worth it? She came after me first. Sat on me. Lied. Tried to ruin my life. But did I need to destroy her? I don't know. Maybe I should have just let the train ride end with her walking off into the cold. But she picked the wrong person that day. And maybe I picked the wrong kind of justice. Still, I kept the video up. I didn't delete anything. Because here's the thing. Sometimes when people push too hard, they fall off a cliff they didn't know was behind them. And sometimes when you push back, they never get up again.